Hey everybody, Ryan here from Ryan Hockey Channel. I hope you're having a great day out there. Another great day here where I live, here in California, so hopefully you're having a good day too. Alright, I know it's evening now, but it was a great day one way or the other. Alright, if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button, that like button, that notification bell, and make sure to hit that share button. Also, let me know what you think in the comments if you agree, disagree. Just be civil. Other than that, let's talk some other hockey. Alright, this is who the Oilers added this offseason. They added Zach Hyman, 7 years, $5.5 million. That's a good contract for what you're going to get there, because I think he's going to do great with the players on this team. Cody Ceci, one of the more surprising contracts. 4 years, $3.25 million. He hasn't looked that good the last few years, so I'm kind of surprised he got the term. The money, honestly, I think that's a bit much for Cody Ceci, but obviously Edmonton sees something they like about him. They added Derek Ryan from Calgary. That's an interesting mix. 2 years, $1.25 million per. Good fourth line center. Warren Fogle from Carolina. I think that's a good pickup. I mean, they did lose Ethan Bear, which I think they could use Bear, but they added some defenders this year. So we'll see how this all works out. And signed Warren Fogle to a 3-year, $2.75 million contract. Duncan Keith and Tim Soderlund were added from Chicago for Caleb Jones and a conditional second or third round pick in 2022. Brendan Perlini, 1 year, $750,000 contract. Slayer Cook, 2 years, $925,000 per. And Tyler Benson, I have him here for some reason, was re-signed 1 year, $750,000. Subtractions, they bought out James Neal. So that contract's bye-bye. Jujhar Khaira, I think that one's going to be a loss, honestly. I like Khaira. Even though I know he got knocked out twice last year, but still, good player. Good heart and soul type of player. I mean, he's not going to score a ton of points or anything like that, but he's a good heart and soul type of player. Like, he puts everything out there when he plays. But he went to Chicago. Dmitry Kulikov went to Minnesota. Joe Gambardella went to New Jersey. Ethan Bear went to Carolina for Warren Fogle in the trade. Dylan Wells went to Carolina for future considerations in trade, and Caleb Jones went to Chicago in a trade. They re-signed Tyson Barrie, which is a good one because he had a very good year for them. Re-signed 3 years, $4.5 million per. I think that's a good contract for him. Mike Smith re-signed 2 years, $2.2 million. I think goaltending is still a weakness on this team, but like I've talked about in the previous video, Mike Smith isn't necessarily the problem they had. I just worry about him getting more advanced in age and them relying too much on him. I mean, he's had a lot of injury issues over the last few years, so hopefully he can hold it because I'm not sure Koskinen can do it for them when he's hurt. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins re-signed 8 years, $5.125 million. It's a good contract, good cheap contract. Or I wouldn't say cheap, but it's a good affordable contract considering the amount they have going towards Draisaitl, Nurse, and McDavid. Because Devin Shore first. 2 years, $850,000. There's Darnell Nurse and his new contract right there. 8 years, $9.25 million. Yes. That much for Darnell Nurse. And honestly, he's been pretty good the last couple of years for him, so I think he's earned it. But I think 9.25 is a lot. Especially when you already are paying pretty much league max for Draisaitl and McDavid. That's a lot of money on 3 players. Stuart Skinner was re-signed 2 years, $750,000, and Kailer Yamamoto, a prove-it contract, 1 year, $1.175 million. This is their cap situation. They have 0 cap space, and they're over the cap. $84 million is their cap. They have a projected LTIR of $2.8 million, so that might help them. Alright, here's their contracts. Actually, Draisaitl is not league max, but Connor McDavid is. Connor McDavid, as you can see right here in this category, cap percentage, that's how much of the team cap they take up. McDavid takes up 15% by himself, with his $12.5 million for 5 seasons, including this season. Leon Draisaitl has 4 more seasons, including this season, so you know he's going to want more if he keeps playing the way he is. That's why the contracts for like Hyman and Nugent-Hopkins, those are good contracts for what their situation is going to be in the near future. Kyle Turris and Josh Archibald are expected to be UFAs. I would not be surprised if they stay for cheaper contracts. I'm honestly surprised Turris is only 32. Honestly, I thought this guy had been playing a lot longer. Jesse Puljujarvi, Kyler Yamamoto, and Brendan Perlini are all RFAs at the end of the season, in which case Puljujarvi and Yamamoto may want more money. So we'll have to see how this plays out. Alright, so their defensive side. I keep hitting this mic. Darnell Nurse, one more year till that new $9.25 million contract kicks in. Duncan Keith they have for this season and next, and then I think he's going to retire. I'd be surprised if he didn't, but you never know. Tyson Barrie, like I said, good contract there for what he brings. Cody Ceci, I think that contract's going to hurt down the line. I don't think he's worth that much, but he thought he was, and he got out there and got that money, so good on him. But defensively, they have Slater Cook is the only free agent after this year. I'm sorry, Chris Russell is the only free agent after this year, and he's a UFA. In which case, he may return, he may not. I mean, if he takes like a league minimum, I don't see why they wouldn't keep him. On the goalie side, like I said, Mike Smith is their main goalie. He's 39 years old, signed for 2 years. I mean, there are a few cases where guys over 40 still are effective goalies, but not many. So, hopefully he can stay that way, but there's no guarantees. Outside that, they have Mikko Koskinen and Alex Stalock, who are both UFAs, and like I said, Koskinen cannot hold the team down, and I saw something about the other day about Alex Stalock not playing this year. I could be wrong, though. It may have been someone else, but either way, I mean, I think goaltending, if they can acquire a goalie, like, just hypothetical out there, like, if for some reason they were to trade for John Gibson from Anaheim, that would make this team undoubtedly a contender. Undoubtedly. Mike Smith's a good goalie. And he was a very good goalie in the past, and he had a very good year last year when he was healthy. But at 39 years old, I'm not sure he can carry this team to a Stanley Cup. And I think that's their main weakness, is that defensively, I think they've improved a bit. I mean, Duncan Keith isn't what he used to be. Cody Ceci, I don't think is as good as that contract would suggest. Chris Russell is on the downside of his career now. Darnell Nurse is definitely on the upswing. Tyson Barrie is still a very good defender. I don't know about his defensive game, but offensive game, he's very good. I mean, Evan Bouchard, they definitely are going to rely on to be a solid defender. So, I mean, defensively and goaltending-wise, I think is their main weaknesses, because this team can put goals on the board. That's easy enough for this team. It's stopping goals is their main thing they need to fix. I mean, it would definitely help if Oscar Klefbom were not injured all last season and 100% healthy. That would definitely help. We'll have to see how he comes back if he does. I mean, they still have him on injured reserve, and I have not heard anything about him playing. Doesn't mean he isn't, but I just haven't heard anything. And they're still paying for Milan Lucic's retained salary for this year and next, but only $750,000, so not terrible. And they have Colton Skivor, a right winger, veteran right winger, on a tryout. So I think he may get some time. Maybe if they sign him, maybe they don't. I don't know. I mean, offensively, they still have some guys coming up. They have like a Ryan McLeod, Raphael Lavoie, Dylan Holloway. I mean, they're decent prospects. I mean, they're not prospects like Connor McDavid, but they're still decent ones, just like Tyler Benson down there. So, I mean, they definitely have offensive talent coming up still. They do have Ryan McLeod, Tim Soderlund, Ostap Safin, Kirill Maximov, Tyler Benson, and Cooper Merity, all RFAs after this season. UFA is Seth Griffith, who is a veteran guy who may get some games in just because he has played games. On the defensive side, they have Phil Broberg, who definitely could be an NHL caliber defender. I don't know if he's going to be this year, but in the future, he definitely could be. I mean, I could see him making the team this year, honestly. William Lagesson has played games, so they definitely, I think they need to draft more in the goaltending and the defensive area this next couple years. I think definitely improve themselves there. But Broberg is definitely a good defender. I think he'll be there maybe this year. Maybe. But, yeah. On the defensive side, they have Dmitry Semerukov, as RFA, as well as Marcus Nimalainen and Philip Berglund and William Lagesson are all RFAs out there this season. Goaltending wise, I can't say any of those names necessarily stand out as top tier goaltending prospects, but you never know. Goaltenders take longer, and you just never know what you're going to get with a goaltender. You really don't. Nope, wrong way. All right, this is their 2021 draft. They drafted their young forward in their first round, at number 22, Xavier Bourgault. I believe is how you pronounce that. I could be incorrect. Oh, wow. I like their second pick, number 90, Luca Munzenberger. That's a German name. If you don't know that, it's Deutsch. Fun names. Not as fun as Russian names, though. Russian names are a lot more fun, honestly. God, they're fun names. At least for those who are not Russian and try and speak them. Because, God, it can be tough to say Russian names sometimes. Although, so can be Swede names can be difficult, too. Finnish names can be really difficult. Okay, I'm going off a tangent here. Alright, moving on. Their 2022 draft, they have all their own first-round picks for the next few years. They have their own second-round pick, but it is a conditional one, so they could lose their second-round pick this year. They have no third and no fourth this year. They have their own fifth, sixth, and seventh, and for the next 2 years, they have all their own picks. Now, because this team is going to be a playoff team, in the specific division, if they don't make the playoffs, this team just collapsed because this division is terrible. I mean, their only main competitor is Vegas, really. I mean, Calgary I can see as a middling team, but in LA, a middling team as well. In Seattle, I just don't know what we're going to get from Seattle, but definitely Vegas is the top team in this one, and I think Edmonton is there too, but not as good as Vegas. But they're definitely going to be probably number 2 in this division. Maybe number 1 if Vegas falters. Alright, lineup, forward, defense, and goalies and scratches. Alright, their first line projects to be McDavid, Puljujärvi, and Hyman. I think that'll be a very good first line. I mean, McDavid, God, does he really even need anybody to be good? No. But he dang well it looks good with the assists too. 72 assists last year. In 56 games, he had 105 points. That's very good output. Second line, you have Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, and Yamamoto. Draisaitl with an 84-point season last year. Third line, Warren Foegele, Derek Ryan, and Zach Kassian. Hopefully Kassian can stay healthy this year. Fourth line, Devin Shore, Kyle Turris, and Josh Archibald. That fourth line is very questionable to me, but not the worst ever. So, I mean, it's not terrible. On the defensive side, you have Darnell Nurse and Tyson Berry. A very good pair last year, so I would not be surprised they stay together. I think they played together. Did they play together last year? If you're an Edmonton fan, let me know if they played together as a D pair last year. Either way, I mean, that would be a good pairing. I don't see any reason why not. I mean, Nurse had a beast of a year last year. Of course, he did get his contract, so hopefully he still plays and gets that beast year again. Duncan Keith and Cody Ceci on the second pair. I'd almost rather have Keith with Evan Bouchard so he can teach Bouchard how to play the dang game defensively. I mean, Bouchard isn't terrible defensively. He's definitely, I think, going to be more of an offensive forward. Or, not forward, defender, but it wouldn't hurt to have someone like Duncan Keith teach you the ways of the game as a 21-year-old. Definitely would not hurt. Third pair, Chris Russell and Evan Bouchard. I mean, Russell's not terrible either. I mean, definitely going to teach him to be a shot blocker. That'd be nice. But then again, if you want an offensive forward, you don't want them blocking shots. And I keep saying forward, defender. Offensive defender. Alright, goaltenders. I've already talked about Smith and Koskinen. I don't know if there's much more I can say. Like I said, Smith had a good year last year. It's just he's 39. You got to expect a drop-off. I mean, it's inevitable. Scratches, you have Ryan McLeod, played some games last year. Seth Griffith and Slayer Cook. Injury reserve, you have Stalock and you have Oscar Clefbaum. Buyout history, you also have them paying for James Neal and Andre Sekera. And Sekera comes off in the season after next. And James Neal, you have 4 more years, including this season. Alright, in the training camp, you already had the PTO player Colton Skivor. He played last year. We know that. Not with this team, obviously. It looks like Dylan Holloway is injured currently. And he is signed. Okay. Tyler Benson should get some games this year. If he does not, I mean, he's getting close to that make or break time of his career. William Lagesson played some games last year. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get some more games. I wouldn't be surprised to see Philip Broberg get some games in this year. I mean, 8th overall pick back in 2019, so gotta give him some games at some point. Alright, on the prospect list, nobody here has played at all. And honestly, I think most of their good ones for the prospect list are on the training camp list, which is what we just looked at. So, and this training camp list is, I think I pulled it like 3 weeks ago. I just didn't get a chance to finish the prep for the video and do the video. So, some of these guys may have already been cut, and if they have, so be it. But this is just the training camp roster. There's no guarantee any of these guys make it, just like there's no guarantee that's the final lineup. I mean, I could see that fourth line not being that line. Alright. On the top prospects, this is what I found top prospect-wise for this team. Evan Bouchard is their top prospect, defender. 5 points in 14 NHL games with 17 points in 23 Hockey Allsvenskan games. And Philip Broberg, 13 points in 44 SHL games, which I always have to reiterate this. SHL, 13 points by a defender who is like 19, 20 years old in 44 games is a good output. Because this is a league where it's all men. They're only playing against men. And generally kids his age don't get a lot of playing minutes. So that's actually a good output for him. Dylan Holloway is their third one. He had 35 points in 23 NCAA games. Did they say he was signed? Oh yeah, he is signed. Oh, I can see Holloway getting some games this year. Okay, that's a good offensive output. Sorry, I had to fix some stuff there. Xavier Bourgault he was a center, not a defender. 40 points in 28 QMJHL games. Already played one QMJHL game this year, but 0 points in that game. Dmitry Samarukov, defender, 8 points in 48 KHL games. Still in training camp for this team, so we'll see if maybe he gets some games. I just mentioned top prospects: Raphael Lavoie, Ryan McLeod, Tyler Benson, Ilya Konovalov, and Carter Savoy. So, some good offensive ones there, but like I said, this team doesn't necessarily need offense. They need defending and goalies. This is, honestly, I see his team as a middle team. Like I said, the defense and the goaltending is what I worry about. Now, Mike Smith can have a year like last year, and the goaltending-wise goes out the window. And that one's not as much of a worry. But at 39, he's not the long-term option for this team. They need a long-term option in the goalie department. And a solid one of that. Because Koskinen is not it, and honestly he's in his mid-30s anyway, so he doesn't have as much time either. So, but this team, I see him as a middle-range team, but they're going to finish at the top of their division, because the Pacific Division is terrible, like I keep reiterating. This is a terrible division, so this is going to be a top-range team in this division. Now, will they go far in the playoffs? There's a possibility. I mean, if they can get out of the Pacific Division the way the playoffs are set up, they'll be in the conference finals. That's plain and simple how it's going to be. I mean, now the Pacific Division will have someone from the Central Division as a wild card team, is my guess. I could be wrong, but I'm going to guess the Central is going to have 2 wild card teams. So one of them will be in the West, and we'll see who it is. Because if they get someone like Minnesota, it's out the window. Who knows what's going to happen? But if they can get past Vegas and even get past Calgary, if Calgary were to make the playoffs, then they could definitely be a conference final team. Now, can they get past the Central Division team like a Colorado in the playoffs? Oh, I think Colorado will pick apart their defense and their goaltending, honestly. But you never know. Things happen. But I see this team, like I said, as a middle-range team. They're a good team, but they have some improvement, in which case I'm not sure they have the cap space to make those improvements easily. They'll have to make a lot of deals in order to get cap space moved, cap space reduced, that sort of thing, like we saw last year for Tampa. So now I'm not saying this is a new Tampa Bay team. This is not, but they still are a very good team, and I think they'll do well. I can't put them as a top range team yet. Get some more improvements in there, and I could definitely see it happening. But as of now, I cannot say that. So, sorry, Edmonton fans. I think they're going to have a good year. I do think they're going to have that. I'm just not sure that they're going to have that cup year. I mean, yeah, I don't see many situations where it works out that way. So, take it or leave it. That's fine. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. If you think this is going to be a top-range team, that's fine. I can't say that they're not a top-range team. It's just don't see them based off of the defense and the goaltending issues that could be now or in the near future. But they are definitely a good team, and if you don't agree, that's fine. I understand. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And also let me know what you think in the comments. Just be civil. Agree, disagree. That's fine. And also share the video. And other than that, I will see you on next video. Bye, everybody.